Five, four, three, two. You got any questions?
Who's wrong?
Almost.
Look at him. Thanks. Got the steel shot.
Let's go.
So what do you like best about your job?
Oh man, there's so many things I actually like. I only have to pick one. Just one. Okay. Oh man, just one. Okay, fine. The one thing that I love about my job is the collaborative learning piece. As I'm a professor, I do teach, but I learn from my students as well. And I love that. I love it.
I like your answers. They're short, sweet. You do best. So what excites you most about your job?
The banter that I have, like in the hallway with my students. When it's something, like when it's, how can I say this? When it's groundbreaking things that happen within the news, students get really intrigued and they want to talk and articulate about it. And I love the banter. I love the opportunity to talk with another person that's within education. Somebody's hungry, somebody who seeks more information. So I love that. I love the conversational pieces I can have with my students on black issues, issues of higher institutions, networking, anything. I just love it.
Okay. What are some of the more difficult parts of the job?
The more difficult parts of my job is dealing with people who don't want to do their job. Like my little lazy students who don't want to come to class. They don't want to do their part. People who don't do their work. People who make excuses. That is the most difficult thing. Dealing with students who feel entitled. I have a lot of students who feel entitled and feel like they deserve certain things. And they don't understand the concept of work. We're dealing with a microwave generation, and they think that everything is going to come within 30 seconds after you think of the idea, and it's not. They don't understand the concept of work, real work.
Okay, how did you choose this field?
I didn't choose this field. This field chose me. I was actually in marketing and advertising, doing radio, doing TV, and I received my master's. And my first job that I got for teaching, she hired me in church. She said, I see that you're a speech, what did she say? I see you have your master's in speech. Do you have any experience teaching? And yes, I had experience like with the middle schoolers. She said, come do a demo, and I did a demonstration, and then it just kind of went off from there. And then I realized how much I loved it after like my first day of school.
Okay, so do you work alone or in teams?
I work alone. I'm a lone wolf, lone ranger.
How is this field developing and changing?
This field is developing because people understand the concept that communication is inevitable. Everyone needs to understand the basic communication skills, which is oral, written, and verbal. Knowing how to write, speak competently, and of course show up and do the job. Nonverbal communication, people are starting to understand that is wide. It's a wider range of jobs, and nonverbal communication speaks way louder than verbal communication. With technology and communication, it's advancing so much, and it's important that people understand like communication is inevitable. Without these basic things, you won't be able to survive. So we're needed always, and I love it.
And so what are the most important skills to have for success in this field?
The most important skills to have to be successful in this field, number one, is understanding who you are as a person. You have to understand what type of communication you give off and how others perceive you in order to really communicate competently. It's important to be able to speak properly, know when to decipher when, how, what, and who to speak to in what way. When to use African American vernacular, when to turn it off. It's very important to know those. Very important to know basic written skills, grammar, how to write a proper email, how to decipher an LOL for a text message, for an essay. Those are very important skills to know. Oh, and most importantly is how to dress and show up for a job.
Yeah, because you're always on point.
Thank you.
And so, is a master's degree required for advancement?
Yes, a bachelor's degree is a high school diploma nowadays. What is the point? What's the point in stopping? Unless you're going to go into a business and flourish, which if you haven't started on your business like 10 years ago, you're not going to flourish, from day one. You have to go and get the education. You have to learn. You have to keep going. You have to persevere, push through, seriously.
Okay. And so what is a typical entry-level salary for this field?
Oh, for like a communication field? Okay, so let's just think in the basis of, I don't know what job you really want to talk about, because you really get nothing. Like even radio personnel, internships, all of that, you're working with -2 cents. You're working and building your way up. So anything with radio, TV, PR, all of that is a business within itself. So really you are the product. So you have to kind of prepare yourself to be in that field. And typically you do not start making money until you are it. And even when you are it, you're really not making no money.
True.
So nothing to answer the question.
So what is
No,
the
$20.
Sips tea.
So what is the typical career path for someone in the communication field?
Ooh, typical career path. Man, it's so many different paths. I would just say probably, okay, internship, applying for an entry-level position if it's like marketing, if it's advertising, if it's PR, if it's at a radio station, typically you're an intern and then you work for the street team forever until they see qualities in you to say, okay, you should have your own radio show. Or unless you just break the mold and do your own radio show, do your own TV show, be your own boss.
And so what advice do you have for us entering this field?
The advice that I have for anybody entering this field is to know who you are. Those 2 feet that you have, stand on them. That brain that you have, create a plan, create a goal, and smash that goal and repeat. And you just have to keep pushing. And when they tell you no, just smile and say, okay, I'll be back to take your job.
Okay.
Because that's how it goes.
And so to kind of backdoor on that, like when it comes to a resume, how should we improve it?
You should improve your resume by one-upping everybody. And when I say one-up, I mean get a digital resume. Have a digital resume. That is what the future is. The future is technology. So one-up yourself, create a digital resume. Create a regular resume too. And I always recommend that you never put your actual zip code on a resume. All my students know, because they will try to Google where your address is and count you out and say, oh, you don't want to drive an hour to my place of business every day. Let me decide that. You don't decide that for me. I want this job. You know what I mean? And especially with resumes, always have a CV. So always have, 3 different types, but I definitely recommend a digital one. I'm working on my digital one. I don't have one yet, so I recommend that y'all do one. Definitely. Digital resume is a must.
Okay. And can you recommend any friends or colleagues that would be good for us to talk to about this field?
No. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, of course. Of course.
She was serious.
Of course. Of course. I have some people that I've worked with that graduated from SAM in their communications department. She's actually the producer of the network that I'm on, Core Vision TV, Nika. She would be awesome. Kim So Major, she used to be on Power 105. Marcus, he's a good friend of mine. He produces The Breakfast Club for 93.7 The Beat. And he also has his own show that comes on every Sunday. Y'all need to tune in. Blessed Beats. Get your praise on before church. 93.7 The Beat, 7 a.m. on Sundays. Cheetah Craft is starting to become one of my girls in my inner circle. Chris Wall, she is a philanthropist, workout diva, entrepreneur, and of course wife Paul Wall. She's a great source to work, to talk to, especially even with this field because she knows a lot. She actually used to sing. And she used to write for Paul on his CDs. So yeah. I do work with Matthew Knowles. He is a professor here at Texas Southern as well. I have a plethora of people I could get you guys to talk to.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's it.
Oh, that was it. Okay. Well, it's a wrap, guys.